Man, that song came out, man. I said, "Oh, look at Master P." Master P was the first one to cash in, cashed in quick right after Pac died. But yeah, man, we in the building, so we looking at this trial, man, that's about to get started on Monday, and they've done the whole process in regard to like jury selection and all of that. So all of that's out the way. I mean, we're gonna take a look at some of that. But I find it very, very interesting that this case is happening now. And with the content, I find it's very interesting for me. You know what I'm saying? I find a lot of interest in it. But I'm not sure that they have anything, man. You know what I mean? I don't want to get my Tupac fan caught up in the realities of the system. See what I'm saying? I'm a fan, right? Super fan, always been a fan. Can rap you like 100 songs, lyric for lyric, with no help. You know what I'm saying? Like I know the music, right? Super fan, fanned out. You know what I'm saying? All of that. You know what I'm saying? But when we start talking about the realities of this specific case, do they actually have what it takes to cross the threshold into a conviction? I'm saying I don't really think so. As much as I think Keefe D need to hold the L for all of this, I don't know that they can prove that he did it though. I mean, we talking 30 years ago, fam. I don't be knowing, the timing, right? It seems like some of this stuff be like purposefully timed, right? Just think about it like this. This trial for the start, what's that be like August 17th, August 16th, something like that. Expected to last a couple weeks, right? Do you realize that takes us right into September 6th? You know what I'm saying? Like almost like purposefully schedule this around the 30th this year. This would be the 30th. I hate to call it an anniversary, right? But this was the 30th anniversary of Tupac's death. Okay, so September 6th, 2026 will be 30 years that Tupac was shot in Las Vegas. Are they trying to get this kind of like conviction around the 30th anniversary to benefit this city somehow, to bring attention to Las Vegas? Fam, I live out here. They thirsty out here, fam. It's like Las Vegas be looking for any type of headline, any type of attention, anything to make Las Vegas look good. And right now, Las Vegas is on the decline. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know that this isn't purposefully done at this time to coincide with the 30th anniversary of Tupac's death. Now, how they gonna play with that? You know what I'm saying? That's another discussion. But the fact of the matter is the timing is perfect. Like, you know what I'm saying? We literally looking to roll right into September 6th for the end of this trial. You know what I'm saying? So I find it interesting, but let's get you up here to the date where we are right now, because I haven't talked about a lot of this for the rest of the week. Once I realized that they weren't starting the trial until Monday, I kind of wanted to just let all the preliminaries get out the way, right? So now that we've gotten all the preliminaries out the way, we got a jury seated, everything's done. I didn't want to just come on wasting y'all time, giving y'all repeated, redundant stuff about, this is what's going to happen. Now we need something to happen. So now we've gotten all the preliminaries out the way. Let's get to it.
This afternoon, a jury has officially been seated in the trial over the murder of rapper Tupac Shakur. Fox 5's Victoria Saha joins us live from the courthouse. Victoria, what can you tell us?
Hey, Carla, after nearly 4 days of jury action, we now have a jury of 16 people for this trial that's now 30 years in the making. We women and 6 men that will be seated in that jury box. So we didn't expect it to go so quickly today. We thought it was going to be another day of questioning as well. It did start off with questioning one juror who state prosecutors say had lied about his criminal history earlier in the week. There was some clarification about his answers, and ultimately the judge decided that, okay, he can probably move on. There was no reason to believe he was trying to deceive the defense or the prosecutors as well. And demographic-wise, it is a mix of middle-aged people. There is only one African-American person in there, a gentleman, and it's a mix of maybe middle-aged, young. I think the youngest person.
I know Keefe looking at that shit like, man, I'm through. One black juror. Oh man, I'm through. It's over. But that's what I'm saying. I'm just not sure though. Evidence-wise, I'm not sure that they got what it takes to get no guilty verdict. You know what I'm saying? I get it. You know, one black person on the jury, that's always gonna sound a little shaky. You know what I'm saying? Sitting in that defendant's seat. But I mean, again, I would think that the evidence works in Keefe D's favor, considering there's not a lot of proof. His words are the proof. You can get in doubt with what somebody said. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think you can cross the threshold of reasonable doubt if we base all this on somebody's cap-ass videos, right? Now, what do you have that substantiates things saying in the videos? Because the problem is going to be nothing to substantiate it. You know what I'm saying? So again, I question if you can just come and lock somebody up because they said they did something. They was there, they story fit, and then you lock them up based on their word. Don't you have to prove they did it? Right? And that's why this is kind of an important case on both sides, because this is the self-snitching conversation coming to the courtroom as a standalone argument, right? There's nothing else here. They don't have a gun. They don't have a person to come in and testify that he was there. They can't even really prove he was there. I have not seen any video evidence of Keefe being in Las Vegas, right? So again, what do they have that ties him directly to the shooting outside of his own words? Because there is a burden of proof that you have to reach in a murder case. Like I said, I don't want to just watch this and be disappointed when the nigga get off. I kind of want to be ahead of the curve. If he get off, I know why. And I'm telling you, I can see why already before he goes into this, why he would get off. What more do you have? And I'm hoping they ain't just coming in talking about his book and what he said in the Vlad TV interview. You need proof.
Person might be in his early 20s. He was one that was questioned yesterday, but today, as all the jurors were walking in, Dwayne Davis was watching them very carefully as they walked in, and we were waiting for the state and the defense to question those 36 jurors originally even further. Each side had about 10 strikes until they narrowed that 36 down to about 16. We don't know exactly how they narrowed it down. After a brief pause, the judge was able to just read off several names. Those names were the ones that were going to be escorted out. They were not going to be on the jury. And this was a very selective process. We knew it was going to be selective because of the impact and the name and the fame that comes with this case. Yesterday, there was a gentleman also who was being questioned. He was talking about how financially it might be harder for him to serve as a juror in this for 5 weeks at least. And then came the moment where he told the judge and everyone in the courtroom that, oh, but it's a really cool case. And that we knew instantly that is when he was going to be ousted. And that's exactly what happened after a
Yeah, you can't go in there and tell them, man, but this case gonna be lit though. I want to be a part of this. I want to be a part of this. This about to be the biggest story around. Like, you can't really do that. That's not gonna work. They're gonna get your ass up out of there. That's crazy. Good looking out, Nunu, on the Cash App. Appreciate you, Nunu. Nunu is on her honeymoon supporting the stream. I can greatly appreciate that. Shout out to the hubby. Tell him I said what up, though. Yeah, we in the building, though, man. Like I say, I'm just not sure that they have what it takes to cross the line into conviction. What is going on? What is this? Where's your wrench, Scarred Beauty? What is that? Is that a new channel or something? Why are you not blue? What is going on? Is that another channel? Like, what is this?
few minutes of private discussion with the judge. That person was excused. So they knew that they had to have a very, very thorough process in this jury selection. They need someone that's going to be impartial and fair to both sides, because again, they have no idea about the case itself, meaning the arrest in this. Mr. Davis is in plain clothes. So as far as the jury knows, he's not behind bars right now. There were snippets of, yes, I saw it on the news. So these jurors were then questioned how much they saw on the news. Have they listened to Tupac's music and all that stuff? So it was very interesting to see this process from more than 100 on Monday and Tuesday, and now we have 16 jurors who will serve on this case and decide whether Dwayne Davis is guilty or not guilty. Carla, I'll send it back to you in the studio.
Now, Victoria, you have been our eyes and ears inside that courtroom now. Was there a reaction at all when we officially saw that there was going to be those official jurors?
No reaction. I think all of us in the media box, we were kind of like surprised that it was so quick. Again, we were prepared for more questioning today of those 30 jurors. They walked in and, really we're now an hour later and they have a final jury, but it's been interesting to just see how thorough both sides were when it came to questioning, because again, their main priority is to make sure this becomes a fair trial and that jury that's going to decide at the end and come in with a verdict is an impartial jury. So
what are we calling a fair trial? Man, listen, everybody knows who Tupac is. All right, there's no such thing as a fair trial as far as Tupac goes, right? Like, for real. And that's more so what I'm concerned about here is I don't want to be on the shady side of things. Like, I don't care, just lock him up. He was involved. How dare he speak on the name Tupac like that? Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to be part of the Tiki Torch crowd. Yeah, I mean, I want him to get locked up for actually committing the crime and them having the evidence to prove it, not just on some, we got our tiki torches and we gonna get him. You know what I mean? Like, there's a threshold you have to cross to get a conviction, and I'm gonna be watching close because I don't know how they can cross that threshold given some of these other trials I done seen where they have actual physical evidence. They got ring cams. They got the murder weapon. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't have none of that. You ain't got shit but him saying it. Like I say, where do you start to draw the line in what's cap and what's not? You know, because I can't say everything Keefe D said was cap, but I can't take his word for it either. Like, we can't suddenly forget that people are trying to embellish stories to sell them and make money. You know what I'm saying? So while Keefe could possibly be telling the 100% truth, certain parts of it could be embellished, and that in itself means that we don't really know what you're bringing as the final proof and determining factor to say, yeah, he did it. You know, he need to face his time. You know, I don't see that being shown throughout this case thus far. And again, this is given months and months of interviews. You know what I'm saying? Gonna take a look at a couple of them. Some of the conversations they've held with him and some of the conversations they've had about the evidence they have, they're talking about books and interviews. You know what I'm saying? When they raided his house, they didn't say they found a gun or diary journal entries from September 6th. Because, you know what I'm saying, if they had something like that, like a diary entry or something like that, you know what I mean, that might be valid. But I don't recall anything that they got from the raid that was actually pointing to him being a player in the events of September 6, 1996. Let's continue.
They crossed their T's, dotted their I's, did their homework, and looking up criminal history for anyone who may have lied in that jury box. So it was interesting to have a front row seat.
Thank you, Victoria. You can stay up to date on this trial on our free Fox 5 Vegas Plus streaming app. Fox 5, we'll be right back.
Yeah, they finna get paid.
We'll treat you like a combative if that's how you want to be treated.
No.
Okay.
SWAT teams in Tucson, Arizona swarmed
That's crazy, bro. Now, what the SWAT teams in Arizona? That is not what I had on my playlist for next. Hold on, fam. Let me see what's going on here.
suspect that they say had driven 2 hours to meet the teen girl for sex. But that teen turned out to be an undercover officer, and the man was taken into custody on sex crime
It
charges.
should have been at the top instead. I'm gonna say, I know they.
Welcome to TMZ Live.
All right, let's get
That
to,
night.
let's get to the Suge Knight interview, because now Suge Knight plays an interesting role in this. So let's talk about Suge Knight stuff, right? Suge calls in the TMZ the other day. We finna listen to it, and you know he kind of talking like he don't want to testify. You know what I'm saying? And as y'all can hear, and I'll wait till you hear it to speak on the rest of it. But Suge, the night of the incident, said he saw the killer. He said he knows who they are and he wasn't gonna snitch. That was Suge's day one position, right? When Keefe D gave his original proffer, he said he looked at Suge directly in the eye, right? Keefe said he saw Suge, he knows Suge, they grew up together, and he knows for a fact that Suge saw him, right? So today, if Suge gets on that stand and says, no, it wasn't Keefe D, this case is over. I just, you know what I'm saying? I want to understand what we're doing here, because again, I don't want to be disappointed in a not guilty verdict, and I'm not sure one is imminent, man. Suge could get right on the stand and say, I saw the shooters and he wasn't one of them. The blow that would be to the prosecution's case. You know what I'm saying? I don't trust Suge, fam. You crazy if you trust anything Suge Knight talking about, right? But let's get into this clip.
Vegas 30 years ago. Now, as you mentioned, Tupac was in the car, the passenger seat. The person who was driving the car was Suge Knight, head of Death Row Records. And, a lot of the people in this case now have died. I ain't talking.
I'm not talking. The one person who knows a lot is Suge Knight. And Suge, up to this point, has said, I ain't talking. I'm not talking. I am not talking. But Suge at least is talking to us,
Right.
because he is on the phone with us right now.
And I'm imagining he is going to be watching what happens in this trial very closely. And he is joining us now. Suge Knight, welcome back to TMZ Live.
What's up with y'all, man?
So listen, and number one, we really appreciate you calling. We should let people know that you are incarcerated now, so you may hear a prison voice,
right,
kind of monitoring. But look, what do you make of
Harvey, I think everybody know I'm in the penitentiary.
There's a reason the graphic that we're putting up shows you in his prison.
It's a fair point, Suge.
Just in case, Suge, we just want everyone to know.
It's a fair point.
You always show pictures of me in prison. Wow.
Okay, that's a fair point. That's a fair point. Orange is not your color necessarily. I got it.
No, it's not.
Okay.
So I want to say is that, it's always a pleasure talking to you guys. But the thing is that Tupac has so much influence. And I'm always happy to have so many people who love him. My son, Legend, him and his friends, they rapper. And my son, Legend, now, he's a basketball player, but he want to be an artist and rapper because of Tupac.
This call and your phone now will be monitored and recorded.
So when I spoke with his mother, by the way, is one of the greatest mothers around. Tori does a great job with my son. She said that I want to do be a rapper. And my granddaughter, sister, even said she loves him. So that says a lot. That makes me happy,
No doubt Tupac's influence is immense. So knowing that, and knowing that your son idolizes him, I would think that you're very interested in what happens in this trial.
Well, I'm interested in that it should really be a teaching. We've been through so much over the years, right? And not just, for pop, for a black man, we go through a lot. And society goes through a lot, in society, period. If we can learn from it and learn something about it and teach something, we're wasting our time. So I definitely always down for trying to make everybody get a better view of life to help.
So, the interesting thing about this case is, what the prosecution is saying is the best witness for them is Keefe. It's Keefe because
right. That's the only witness. That's the only witness, and it's a play on us as the public, right? Because again, Tupac is somebody that matters to us as the public, right? You know what I'm saying? Well, to us that he matters too, I should say. I'm pretty sure he don't matter to everybody. But some of us, it does matter. And so the only evidence you have is his words. And again, I'm just not trying to get caught up in the tiki torch, get him because you got him shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I do, like, fam, I've been on here since 2019 saying Keefe D was telling the truth. Right? The first time I came to Vegas, pulled right on Harmon and Flamingo and did a Tupac video. You know what I'm saying? That's how invested in this type of shit I am. Literally pulled right up there the very first time I came to Vegas and did a video. Like, it was like one of the must-do things. Like, somebody go to a city and things they want to see and want to do. Mine was going to Flamingo and Harmon and doing a video about Tupac and where it all happened and blah, 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 blah. So I'm saying I just don't know that the city ain't trying to play into that part of it, because again, evidence-wise, they should have to prove Keefe did it, right? And I'm not sure that everyone is going to approach it with that legitimate understanding of America's justice system. Like, we can't let the celebrity worship part of this come into play. It does have to boil down to the justice system. And again, Suge, to me, is the person that he's a wild card in this, because he was there. He's one of the few living people that was there in the moment and can actually make a statement that could sway this trial.
Was he essentially confessed that he wrote a book? He's talked about this on podcasts. He's now kind of moonwalking back here and saying, well, I had a ghostwriter in the book. What do you make of that?
He's full of I look at it like this. It's not about picking on Keefe, but at the same time, most of his situations, I know he did it to himself.
He did.
I knew his lawyer was a friend of mine. And I knew about him having immunity and doing that deal a long time ago. But the crazy thing about it, for 30 years or so or more, it cost me my freedom. It cost me money. It cost me business deals. Paid a lot.
No. Wait. We finna make this about Suge. Suge lost something because of Keefe D. Ah, man. See, if he wasn't running death row like boot camp, shout out to Eazy-E, right? If he wasn't running death row like a whole boot camp, he could make that argument. But like, come on, man, what are we doing, Suge? This ain't about you, bruh.
The fact that from day one, even though I got a bullet an inch to my skull, they always says I'm the one who had Tupac killed, which is far from the truth. Every person who participated in that, they never brung up. But I believe in giving everybody the opportunity. I have a book coming out called Your Pain is My Joy. It was coming out this month. When I found out that he wasn't been going to trial,
Right. You got a book coming out, right? Of course you do, Suge. What was I thinking? How did I know that Suge would have a book corresponding with the same exact time as the trial? So now this is not about actual justice or Keefe or Tupac or nothing. Suge trying to get some money himself. He writing a book. And look, he on TMZ. This is pro for it from jail.
I'm not going to put the book out. I'll put it out in September because it'll be too much, for him to deal with. He deserves a fair shake. But I think what he should do, he already told everything. He already told on his. He's still with a situation where make it best for everybody. Put it in a situation. There's a lot of people who participated and a lot of people who they don't talk about. And I'm not here to say they should get punished because I don't believe in that.
Look, Suge the police. What you talking about, bruh? Make it right for who? Like what? Like, wait, everybody like who? Who else is involved? What do you mean, Suge? And the bad part is you can't even really read into it though, because it's Suge Knight saying it. It really don't benefit you to read into it because Suge Knight isn't obviously somebody you can trust. You know what I mean? So if anything, this is like laying bait out for the book. You know what I'm saying? Which again is like fam, you still using Pac name, bro? Like wait, fam, you still using Pac to get over? Because that's what it sounds like. Like who make it right for who? I'm listening. I just don't understand. Maybe y'all do. That's why I wanted to review it because I don't know what he's talking about.
Where that's for everybody. Put it in a situation where it's a lot of people who participated and a lot of people who they don't talk about.
A lot of people who participated and a lot of people they don't talk about. Now, when you say that, what are you saying? Because I'm saying that's bullshit and that's cap, right? Let's just be real. I almost feel like Suge trying to get the prosecution to call him in some ways because Orlando Anderson, who else is in the car? T Brown driving, I think, Orlando and Big Dre. none of them are here anymore. So I don't like, other than the people who are with Tupac, who I think would identify the shooter if they were in the car next to him or actually saw him. They only were able to identify an arm, the type of car it was, and whatnot, but they were never able to see a face. So I'm trying to, again, this is why I think he wrote the book, so he can try to benefit yet again off Tupac's name while he's locked up. It's crazy.
I'm not here to say they should get punished because I don't believe in the revenge. I believe that my kindness comes from God, my strength comes from God. So I'm not on that page of saying they need to get punished, but it's sort of sad that every person has all dropped everything on Keefe. When you look at it, he got immunity, so they can never charge him again. But then he was in bed and dealing with
That's cap. That's not even true, right? Keefe never had immunity, right? That's not what happened. He signed a proffer with an agreement, but he never had immunity. He couldn't get prosecuted by LAPD because he didn't do the crime in LA in the first place. Like that is not a crime that happened in LA. And Las Vegas knew he did the proffer, but they could never charge him based simply just on the proffer. Right? If they could have did that, they'd have locked this nigga up in 2001, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, while people were still alive. Everybody's gone now, and you trying to charge him based on that proffer agreement? Like I say, fam, they knew he did that. You know what I'm saying? Years ago, and even worse, some of the witnesses to this way back then put them into the direction of Orlando, and they knew it. That was their first suspect, and that was the most likely suspect. And they knew Orlando was involved, yet he was out free running around. So all of these are L's that Las Vegas PD should still have to kind of have to deal with today. You know what I'm saying? The fact that a couple months passed, right? Orlando didn't just go right back to Compton and get into a shootout and die. You know what I'm saying? Some time passed where all of them was still on the streets. All of them was still moving around. And if everybody on the West Coast know what happened to Tupac the next day, how come the police couldn't put that together? And then even worse, LAPD seems to have put together a better case than Las Vegas for a Las Vegas case. How does that happen? How does that happen? How does LAPD make a better case for y'all than you've ever made for yourself? I get it. It was LA gang members involved, blah, blah, blah. But you're supposed to go get them, though. They're supposed to go get them off rip. Like I say, it's weird now that we got to watch Keefe as the lone person to go down for this without acknowledging that, yeah, but Las Vegas could have got all of them, though. Like, it wasn't an unknown thing. It's in, like, they had the paperwork from the day after. So they know who was allegedly involved. Keefe ain't finna tell them nothing they didn't hear in 1996. And that's the problem. Keefe ain't saying nothing that wasn't documented way back in 96, then re-released in 2015 after the 2008 proffer. It's just, it's questionable. What do you have on him outside of all of what was already known? I don't know. I'm not sure that they got him like that.
They didn't want a guy that knew if you do a book, he was on podcast 7 times, another podcast 5 times, and he did a book.
So, Suge,
that destroyed his immunity.
Suge, I know you've told us over the years that you're not snitching, you're not naming any names, but it does sound like you were saying there are other people involved.
You said many others.
And even though Keefe is the guy standing trial, that there are many others involved.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say these guys' names, but everybody knows. One thing you got to realize, even in my book, that's why I pushed it back. it fails the details of certain things.
Come on, bro. Cap. Trying to get book sales. Unbelievable. I can't roll with it. Literally will sit here and say anything. Well, you know, I had to push my book back because, you know, even in the book, you know what I'm saying? It's some things I said in there that could be used for the trial. Like, come on, fam. Come on, bro.
My book. That's why I pushed it back. It tells to tell certain things, but it's still no names involved. If that's all you got to look around, see the people, even people got the fake death row, talking. All of a sudden, it get close to this situation with Keefe D. Everybody's quiet. One thing I also want to say is that it was a girl I knew back in the day named SKG. She was black, Asian, about 5'6", 115 pounds. Now somebody else saying they SKG, and they deal with a person that deals with Keefe. They deal with a person who hated Tupac. All these people were saying the most horrible things about Tupac that you possibly can say about a man. It was lies. Now they want to act like they're going to report what's going on. But these guys is in Keefe D's camp, who bail him out and help him. I don't look for bad on him, but I don't look for good on him. It is what it is. But at the same time, I think it's an opportunity for him to clear the board.
Are you saying,
you know the truth?
Are you saying that there's someone who either hired or sent Keefe D on this mission to kill Tupac?
One of the things you got to realize, this was assassination.
Here we go. And see, look, man, I'm just be real with you. 1996, it was a different year for me, man. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. No, I was young. I was having my way out here. So much so that when I went to college, I hang out in the library and look up a whole bunch of Tupac shit. Maybe he didn't die. Maybe it's all a lie. Maybe these people killed him. Maybe it was Puffy. Maybe it was Suge. I don't think that these outrageous conspiracies apply like that, like they did in 96. Like even then, we knew it was outrageous, but we were just enjoying the Elvis moment of our community, if you will. Right? It was the Elvis thing, right? We got to have our little moment where a celebrity didn't die. But fam, we don't do that now, though. Like that was a young moment for those of us who was alive. And you know what I'm saying? We're adults now, fam. Most of us don't look back at that moment like yeah, Tupac is still alive today. like Tupac really did go to Cuba or somewhere and live with Asada off the radar type shit. Like, you know, we had some interesting conspiracies way back when. That stuff don't work no more, fam. I mean, like I said again, I think he's trying to extend this out further than what it goes, add more people to it than that are actually involved. And it is because, you know, people will listen and pay attention to it. But nah, he shouldn't be doing this in the midst of the trial, though. You know what I'm saying? Because it really is a question of like, what are you talking about, bro? Like, why are you making it seem like you got some info that could break the case?
It wasn't over no chain. It wasn't over no colors. This was assassination. And they can do one assassinate Kennedy and everybody can talk about it. But when it comes to Tupac, nobody really wants the truth.
Kennedy? Come on, bro. That's what I'm saying. For me, overshooting it, fam. Again, I'm a Pac fan, right? Greatest. But I think you jumping out there though, man, when you start comparing Tupac being shot in Las Vegas, out here on Harmon and Flamingo, to the JFK assassination. Like, that's a step too far for me. You know what I'm saying? Though, I mean, and again, this is a person who studied both and looked at both over a long period of time. Those are two different conversations, bro. That's crazy. He would make that correlation, but I'm gonna say no. That's too far of a reach right there.
This was assassination, and they can do one who assassinated Kennedy, and everybody can talk about it. But when it comes to Tupac, nobody really wants the truth, because the fact that the truth would have set me free. The truth wouldn't have caused them, the same people who allowed them to allow me, it's the same people. You gotta remember one thing, Harvey.
Wait, bro. I forgot to look this up before I had this nigga locked up for a whole like a whole running somebody over incident. Ain't that why he in there? Like didn't he do some bullshit? Like he act like he in there for the pot case. Or like the pot case has something to do with why he's in there. Like, why in the hell is he making a connection to himself like he's being railroaded based on the pot case? That shit ain't got, bro, you in prison for a whole separate crime. Like, the fuck is going on?
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
What I like about you, we got a lot in common. You started TMZ, you are TMZ. I ain't seen people over the years say, you know what? I'm going to start my own TMZ. You know what? I'm going to do some on my own. And they fail and they fail and they fail. That's like what people say about Death Row. Well, I'm going to start my own Death Row. I'm going to Death Row. And they fail and they fail and they fail. That's why I with you, because we got a lot in common. But this is the thing. When it's all said and done.
Like, what's up with the sneak dissing, bro? Like, because again, the first one, I get it, right? I understand it's not Death Row. He called it the fake Death Row, right? That was the first one. But now I hear more of it again, where again, you using this interview to plug your book and take shots at Snoop and them. Like this is crazy. Like, he's not actually really saying shit to do with Keefe or the case, for real, if we being honest. You know what I'm saying? This is to take shots at Snoop and them, fam. Like, that was crazy.
And they fail. That's like people I like about you, we got a lot in common. You started TMZ, you are TMZ. I ain't seen people over the years say, you know what? I'm going to start my own TMZ. You know what? I'm going to do some on my own. And they fail and they fail and they fail. That's like what people say about Death Row. Well, I'm going to start my own Death Row. I'm going to be Death Row. And they fail and they fail. That's why I with you, because we got a lot in common. But this is the thing. When it's all said and done, this really, all this stuff constantly destroying hip-hop. Hip-hop is one of the most influenced that you can think of. And even today, you got guys still paying for stuff that they have no reason to get a fair shake. Shots goes out to Lil Durk. Shot goes out to the other little young guy who's real, Pooh Shiesty.
Ooh.
NBA guy.
NBA. Man, shout out to all the rappers with felonies, huh? Shout out to all the rappers with Fed cases. Come on, Suge, what we doing, bro? I don't even understand how we rolled that into Smirk and Pooh. Like, that was crazy how Smirk, NBA Youngboy, and Pooh Shiesty just got thrown in the mix with it. Like, what is Suge doing right now? What is he even talking about?
Hip hop is one of the most influenced art that you can think of. And even today, you got guys still paying for stuff that they have no reason to get a fair shake.
You got guys paying for stuff and didn't get a fair shake. Now, listen, I mean, to be fair, right? If the evidence that they saying they got on Dirk is real, if they got 35 witnesses that's gonna come in and testify, and they got everything they saying they got, smirk through, fam. Like, what are you talking about? NBA YoungBoy already did time for that situation up in Utah with sending them women to the feds to get them prescriptions and whatnot. like they was actually doing that shit, bro. They caught him. Like Pooh Shiesty actually did rob Gucci. And like, I don't, like, what are we doing? But like, they're not in situations that somebody put them in. Like, that you pick 3 of them guys. Like those, like, they lead the way in terms of the criminal element inside the rap music. So I'm confused at the argument he making right there.
All right, that you can think of. And even then, you got guys still paying for stuff that they have no reason to get a fair shake. Shot goes out to Lil Durk. Shot goes out the other little young guy who's real, Pooh Shiesty, even NBA guy. Oh, to lay our truth down, they help the people behind us. We so caught up in look at me, look at me, look at me. We got to figure out how to fix this. Only way we can fix this is by putting everything on the table.
So, Suge, I have talked to you. I have talked to you
Right,
over.
so that's the only way to fix it, Suge. Put it on the table then, family. Put it on the table for it, Suge. He bullshit.
Hey, look at me. We got to figure out how to fix this. Only way we can fix this is by putting everything on the table.
Suge, I have talked to you. I have talked to you over the years about this, and there's something I don't understand, because just a few minutes ago that you are not into revenge. That's why you're not going to talk. But Tupac was a close friend of yours, and isn't there a difference between revenge and justice?
I don't know if he was a close friend or not. You know what I'm saying? The framing of that is kind of difficult for somebody like myself. I would say that Suge was a business partner with Tupac. A close friend, to me, validates it validates maybe him a little too much in this scenario, right? I don't think Tupac was necessarily a friend. Not saying that Suge had something against him or wasn't really on his side or any of that. I'm really trying to make that argument either, but I think saying that he's a friend is kind of a step in the wrong direction, considering, right? This is a business partnership. This was not, you're my best friend or any of that. People start getting money together and eventually they stop. You know what I'm saying? A person moves on, but probably felt like he owed him a little something and whatnot, but not necessarily his friendship. You know what I'm saying? Maybe a business relationship. But friend is supposed to be something a little different, but I'm listening.
You said earlier that Keefe is full of and that you were kind of scoffing at him. So you feel like there should be, I guess, what I call justice in the system, where he convicted and maybe others come forward and are convicted as well? Or do you think they should all be shut down?
Well, I think it's no justice from men come from the inner cities in courts. I think it's all revenge. So we never get justice. So when you really look at it,
You have 60 seconds remaining.
you just had it on your show. A white woman stabs a black man and kills him, and you get 3 or 4 years. People had guns, and they had tests to prove they was trying to kill me. It was a hit, and so dies, and look how much time I got.
Seems like Suge was watching yesterday. He made the reference.
What? Wait, what? Boy, I'm telling you, this man know how to plug himself. Say that again.
So when you really look at it,
You have 60 seconds remaining.
you just had on your show a white woman stabs a black man to death and kills him in 3 or 4 years.
So you comparing yourself to Courtney Clenny, bro? Boy, niggas wild. Now, I don't even really disagree, but it's just the principle, bro. You're a little older. You're not some little white girl who's oblivious to circumstances and whatnot. You're in a much better position in life, I think, than her. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I don't know how you making that comparison like that. That's crazy to compare yourself to Courtney Clenny, nigga.
People had guns and they had text to prove they was trying to kill me. It was a hit.
People had guns and they was coming to kill you. It was a hit. Come on, Suge. Come on, bro. So that's why you're in jail now. I think he had like 20-something years. That's why you're in jail now, fam. You made a bad argument. Somebody just tried to pop out on you and it was a hit and blah, blah, blah. I don't mean you get to run nobody over, bro. Like, yeah, like, unfortunately, you have to let them shoot at you first or something. You can't just run somebody over and say, oh, he had a gun. He came to shoot me. That ain't how that works. Man, let me see. Tamara said, hi, is this live? Hi, is this live? Hi, this is live. Shout out to Tamara, man. Hi.
And someone dies, and look how much time I got.
It seems like Suge was watching yesterday. He made the reference to Courtney Clenny.
Yeah.
Getting out in less than 2 years.
Well, you heard they said 60 seconds left, and they mean business in the penitentiary. So we have lost Suge, but I think he gave us his view.
I really want.
And so, yeah, I didn't get nothing out of that. Suge playing for real. Like I say, he's somebody who can come in and change the dynamics of this case. And given that he loves attention, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I don't know that he's not waiting to make his big splash in the headlines, right? I mean, Suge is a dirty dude, fam. You know what I'm saying? That dude could be easily just sitting back waiting for his moment, his opportunity, and then he comes out and tries to steal the show on Law and Crime for 2 days. You know what I'm saying? You know, again, we've got to remember who we talking about here, fam. If you think Woo D was wild, you know what I'm saying? Just imagine Suge on the stand trying to push that goofy ass book. And so I can't discount it yet, right? You know what I'm saying? Again, they talking a month-long trial here. Like I said, this is going to push us right into the anniversary of the Tupac shooting, the Tupac death, right out here in Las Vegas. I don't know that some of that ain't done to coincide with these dates. You know what I mean? So I'm saying, so like he said, Keefe D is cooked. I hear you, but cooked based on what though? Like, what do they actually have on him is what I was asking. That's what I was asking earlier when I started the stream. What do you have? Because right now I don't see anything. It's just a lot of talking, a lot of speculation. And I think it is common for us to view it as, well, he shouldn't have told on himself. But usually when someone tells on themselves that they talk about in these scenarios, bam, usually now, keep in mind, in those scenarios, the police already got evidence though. Right? We ain't talking about somebody just wrote a book or just wrapped it in a song and then 30 years later they go get him. See what I'm saying? Usually in these scenarios, there are other things involved, and then them self-snitching just ties everything together, right? It wraps everything up in one neat little package because everything that they have that proves you did it goes right along with your self-snitching. Yeah, of course you did it. Here's how you did it because you said you did it like this, and here's the gun you did it with. Right? There's a lot more to go with it, usually. And so that's why I say I don't see the compounding factors and layers of evidence required to lock somebody up for a murder case. Not if we just go off of a book or something. But let's check this out.
Away.
Speaking with our own Vanessa Murphy Davis, blaming the former head of security for death row records for the killing in an interview you will only see right here on 8.
If you did not have anything to do with Tupac Shakur's murder, who do you think did?
To me, I think they witnessed Reggie Wright Jr. All he do is lie, is tell stories. He even be on interviews threatening my son, you know what I'm saying? Threatening my family. It's wrong. Even Katie be on interviews threatening my family. It's wrong, man. It's wrong.
In that 400-page motion filed by the DA's office, one of the points that they are trying to make is that a lot of what you have said is true. So you're sort of your own witness, that you said you went to prison for selling drugs, all of these specifics, your role with the Crips. So they're saying you were accurate, so you might be accurate about the murder.
They're lying. It's a bunch of lies.
You know what else kept coming up?
You have to do better than they lying, though, right? You have to talk a little slicker than that. What's up, Jazz? Jazz says he's guilty of something just by being in the car. Hell yeah. The problem is they never proved that he was in the car. They don't, you know what I'm saying? Again, he the one saying he was in the car. You know what I mean? They ain't never had proved none of that. Like, you know what I mean? And so technically, they don't know if he was in the car or not. Hell, he could have been the one in the backseat shooting. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't know. They going off of his story. They don't even, like they said, he is their best witness. So they don't even really have an alternative theory. You see what I'm saying? That's why it's like, does this really cross the threshold of the proof, the evidence, the conviction centering around what he said in a book, what he said in a Vlad TV interview? And like I said, as a Tupac fan, I'm like, yeah, fine. But as an American who don't want this to happen to me, I'm cool on that, fam. And see, I'm like, I don't be sitting around capping, right? So I ain't concerned about that. But like, let's say somebody else sitting around perping though, like I sold 100 bricks. Yeah, I mean, I'd have moved 100 bales across the United States, moving California to Nevada to Iowa, nigga. That's all I do is move bales, right? Let's say somebody on here talking like that. Yeah, the police should be able to go get them and say they're drug trafficking. See what I'm saying? They should have to be able to prove that shit. And there's a threshold they should have to prove it at. Like, I hear you. Yeah, fam, you taking loads of bricks from here to Delaware every week. But they got to stop you with the bricks, don't they? Like they gotta catch you on a call or something with the bricks. Something gotta happen with the bricks first. And that's all I'm saying is I don't think you can just say you did it and boom, we good. We finna lock you up based on what you said. There has to be more. And he goofy as hell. You know what I'm saying? He's every bit of goofy that you can think of, right? He's not necessarily deserving of a second chance. This is all his fault. He's definitely stupid for putting himself in this position. But does this cross that threshold of guilt? That's my question here today. And I'm just not sure, y'all. Like I'm a fan. I want him to suffer the consequence. Nobody never had the L for Tupac. Somebody got to suffer the consequences. However, I just don't want it to be on some fake shit under the guise of, we got justice for Tupac, and it's really not justice for Tupac. It's just something Las Vegas wanted to do to get a knock under their belt. This seems to be more political than a move for justice. And when I say political, I don't know who's going to use it yet. I don't know who's going to use this to say, they closed this 30-year-old cold case, right? But it's going to be used out here politically. Yeah, I mean, I think we need to understand that it's not just finally Las Vegas is gonna get justice for Tupac. Nah, it's bigger than that.
Up in the court documents, Biggie's murder, how at some point you were a suspect.
Yeah, they took my car and did forensics on it. And that car was never shot out of or nothing like that. And it's wrong because I was under the parking garage. That man got killed. When he got killed, they came running back and went in there and said, they just killed Biggie. And I was under the parking garage. That's what happened. They just, to me, the police and that stuff, who expert shots like that, you know what I'm saying? Ain't no competent like that or watch or in our area shoot like that, you know what I'm saying? You have to be a marksman.
So you have nothing to do with Biggie's murder?
Nothing to do with nobody's murder.
And then a name that kept...
I don't know about that. You got to be a marksman. And the reason I say that is because if you know where Biggie's at in the Suburban and you just pull outside and shoot into that door, why would you need to be a marksman? Right? I mean, he making it sound like Biggie got hit from a roof like Charlie Kirk or some shit. I'm like, nah. I understand that the Thomas Robinson argument a little bit better for that, but Biggie didn't get hit by no marksman, fam. Some niggas pulled up right beside, or a nigga pulled up right beside him, or a police officer, right? Because I give you that argument. There's a lot of dirty cops in LA. I even give you that one if you want the police argument. But what we can't do is make it seem like you needed to be a marksman to do a goddamn drive-by on the side of a car that's right beside you on the side of the street. They pulled up next to Biggie and shot upward into a Suburban. It's not hard to, it's not hard to see that you don't need a marksman for that. You need somebody willing to do it. Thank you, Jamie, for the Cash App. I appreciate you, Jamie, on the Cash App. Trying to get this content in right here before the trial start, because there are some things that I don't think people are aware of with this. It said Biggie and Tupac were trash. This was going to happen one way or another. This is just to fill news with something, bro. I don't know what you mean, because it wasn't going to happen one way or the other. Like they let this sit dormant for 26, 27 years. Yeah, they let it sit dormant for way too long. They weren't trying to get a conviction or a closure. And I would say especially in Las Vegas. You know what I'm saying? Las Vegas had no interest in getting closure on this case. And if anything, now, like I say, we're looking at a political football. We're not looking at getting the case closed because, they want to see justice or shit like that. But like I said, good looking on the Cash App, Jamie. We in the building. Let's continue.
Coming up, and it has come up, and I think I've asked you about this before. Sean Combs.
Yeah.
Diddy,
Oh,
Puffy.
shit, my bad. Out the way, babe. Out the way, babe sent me a PayPal, Team PayPal in the building. Thank you, out the way, babe. I didn't notice it. I just saw it. So thank you for the PayPal. Thank you for the support. We in the building. Let's get to this, because I ain't actually heard, I ain't heard this part where nobody brought up Diddy for real. You know what I'm saying? Like, they be acting like the Diddy part of this ain't got nothing to do with nothing. So let's see what we talking about here.
And then a name that kept coming up, and it has come up, and I think I've asked you about this before, Sean Combs.
Yeah.
Diddy, Puffy, whatever. Do you think he had anything to do with the murder of Tupac Shakur?
No, man. I don't think so at all.
And see, this is where it's over with and for me, right? So watch this. If he not putting Diddy in it, then you can't use them goddamn interviews against him, because the foundation of his claim in those interviews was that Diddy did it. Diddy paid for it. This was all Diddy's doing. Diddy would have paid anybody. We just happened to be there. We were the ones. Like, all of this goes back to the Diddy conversation. So now that his argument has changed in regard to Diddy, how can you use the book? How can you use the interviews? You know what I'm saying? Like, for real, this is going to be interesting, fam, because how do you get to use any of that once now he's going back on his claim? This was his claim that Diddy was involved, and that's why they was involved in the Southside Crips and Diddy, and Diddy he let Diddy use his car before and blah blah blah, and that's why they was ready to do the job, because you know Diddy offered the bread, and on top of it, Tupac had beef with his nephew, stumped him out and whatnot. So all of it came together as like the perfect plot, is what he said initially. If you take that key element out of it, how are you using part of the information of the book, and the other part you're gonna just let him say that was a lie? I just want to be clear before we, you know what I mean, because I want everybody to understand where I'm coming from, right? If he's saying I lied about this with Diddy, and y'all not gonna even bring that up, how do you get to introduce the rest of the book as truth? Aren't they gonna have to clear up the part that he's claiming he lied about as well? So, you know what I'm saying? Again, I just don't think they had a great case. I want to see how they work it. I mean, prosecutors work miracles, but I just don't see this as a good case.
Ever. Do you think he had anything to do with the murder of Tupac Shakur?
No, man. I don't think so at all.
What about Biggie's?
I don't think neither one. To me, it's just Toronto police is out there in our area. Reggie Wright, all he did was lie at night. I got a marriage and took the boy took his chain. Don't bring your guns. It's just, I get a lot of stuff from PIs, private investigators, and all the fingers and evidence point to Reggie Wright Jr. And he brought up my name from day one.
The Reggie Wright Jr. theory. See, again, this is just another theory. You know what I'm saying? It ain't as far-fetched as maybe some of the other ones, but it is, in fact, just another theory. You know what I'm saying? The fact of the matter is, you know, Reggie White, wow, shout out to the Deacon of Defense. Reggie Wright was not the one out here claiming that he was in on a hit. Right? That was Keefe. Like, this is crazy. He the one around here talking about he was in on it and blah, blah, blah. So now throwing Reggie under the bus when in reality, like I say, it's just to do the whole little dirty cops thing, right? But his story always centered around Diddy. So he changing his theory might be beneficial to him. Him not saying what he said in that book might work for him. Him not saying what he said in those interviews might work for him. I mean, catch where I'm saying now. If you telling me that what he said in these interviews is your only evidence, well, now which interview are you saying he told the truth in? Because he's a whole different theory as to what happened. Like, it's, you know what I mean? This is crazy. He absolutely said Diddy put the hit out. He went around telling that story for this whole time, and now he's taking that part of it off, which I don't blame him, right? Because now you get to come back and say, well, I told y'all it wasn't real. I told y'all I was in them interviews capping. Y'all the ones took that shit and ran with it and tried to turn that shit into a murder case, fam. I ain't had nothing to do with that. I wasn't in no car with no niggas who killed Tupac, bro. What y'all on? I was just telling a great story. I made it sound good. Heard the story of what actually happened and just put myself in the car. How do you not, what are they gonna do to mitigate the understanding that you have a threshold to cross in terms of a goddamn murder? This is crazy.
Davis is expected in court on Tuesday for a hearing to discuss some pretrial motions. His murder trial expected to last at least a month. There are over 200 people who may testify. On our website, you can see the
And now again, just keep in mind, a month from now, or a month from yesterday, let's be exact. A month from yesterday would be the day Pac died, though. See what I'm saying? That's crazy, fam. Again, I just don't know that this ain't done to coincide with that week that Pac was in that hospital fighting for his life and died out here in Vegas. I mean,
prosecution witness list, which includes names like Mayor Oscar Goodman and Governor Joe Lombardo.
For the latest on this and other stories, visit 8newsnow.com.
This, which includes may testify. On our website, you can see the prosecution witness list, which includes names like Mayor Oscar Goodman and Governor Joe Lombardo.
Yeah, fam, what are we talking about? The mayor and the governor as witnesses, they wasn't there. They wasn't there. Man, how we gonna get justice for Pac and y'all calling irrelevant motherfuckers to the stand, fam? So again, I'm just trying to understand what we doing here, fam. So when you call the governor to the stand, fam, what the fuck is he supposed to be testifying? That he's a fucking Tupac fan? What can he testify to Keefe D in that night in Vegas? What are we talking about? For real, fam, I think this case is going to be interesting because I don't think it's as easy as people making it seem. You know what I'm saying? For real, yeah, we want justice, but wow, come on, fam. For what the hell is the governor gonna be there for? What?
After Tupac Shakur was gunned down on the Las Vegas Strip, the jury that could decide who was responsible is beginning to take shape. Today, 15 prospective jurors were told.
That's 2-3 days ago. I want to hear this part with Money B.
Right now. Thank you so much for taking this. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
30 years, and now the only person ever charged about to go on trial. How do you feel right now about that?
I've always, what I wish is that all of this could have happened years ago, right? His mother isn't with us, and I'm sure she would have.
Man, I mean, this shit late. But shout out to that 49ers helmet back there. If it's one thing that we need to do, we all need to be 49ers fans.
Love to know who killed her, and that's the one thing that really sticks with me about this whole thing.
Was it always suspected for a long time that Keefe D was involved or allegedly involved, or that he orchestrated it? Or when he got arrested, was it a shock and everybody's like, oh my gosh, where did that come from?
Well, no, he actually admitted it, right? Yeah. in his own book or whatnot. But my personal belief is that, and the streets have talked for many years, is that the person that pulled the trigger is no longer with us, right? Keefe D admitted that he was in the car with his nephew and others. So we have that story, but I also believe that again, my personal belief is that there were other people and possibly other agencies involved in the killing of Tupac. And
like what, bro? Like for real, like I need to hear these incredible theories, fam. Like people always make it seem like it was a sniper on top of the Westin shooting down into the BMW. That, like fam, like what happened? What happened? Like for real, like you're not gonna convince me that it was snipers and the CIA and like, bro, come on, fam. Like they just stumped dude out in the goddamn casino, bro. Like, how are we just gonna ignore that? Like just stumping the guy in the casino. Like we gonna act like it's not plausible. Like what the hell?
Allowing for the people that actually killed him to escape the way that they did.
Can you clarify that a little bit? Because, through the years, it was, they said that it was Keefe D's nephew, Orlando Anderson, who pulled the trigger. Then it was it was DeAndre Smith. Suge Knight says who but won't say it. What did you mean by that in terms of who pulled the trigger and who else might be involved?
Well, it's like you said, I've always heard that it was Orlando. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know any of these people involved. So, I can't. What I say is not actually the truth, but this is what I've heard, right? And this is the story that's been going on. So if somebody who doesn't know any of these people, who wasn't there, who wasn't even around any of these goings on, if I'm hearing all of this, why can't the police take that information and solve the case like they would,
let me
any other time, I would say.
Let me do that. What was Tupac like? What was he like? You see the stories, you see the music, you see the, the music videos. What was he like as a person?
Tupac was a very passionate person. He was probably the hardest working or outgoing.
And so again, like I just want to be careful because, like I say, I really think this is the crux of their case. How do people feel about Tupac? Right? Not like, fam, where's the proof that anybody that is alive today was involved? Like I say, because even Money B saying it might be other people. Cool. Like fam, like lay it out for me though. Because you know what I'm saying? I have not heard it laid out.
He had his work ethic was like anything that I've ever seen. I haven't seen anyone with the work ethic like his, and he was super determined. Like he would not take no for an answer, and he would question. He was raised to question authority, and if he has a question, to ask it, and not to hold his tongue.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our News Nation app right now on your phone, and you will get
I want proof though, fam. Like I say, I don't just want the conversation. I want proof of what they're saying. Because that's gonna matter at the end of this. Like a jury is gonna be determining this based on the evidence. I don't even know if they're be considered fans and whatnot. Like they ain't even got no black people on the jury. So while they may have heard of him, they might just be as interested in this as we are, but only looking at the evidence for the first time. Says Suge said he isn't testifying, game over, case closed. I mean, like I said earlier, you have no reason to believe Suge Knight. Suge Knight saying he isn't testifying could just simply be the setup for him to come testify. The setup that he needs for us to get the conversation started about him so he can come and testify. Suge is a clout chaser. I don't believe Suge ain't gonna testify till this case is over. He's about somebody who chased the fame. Like that man ain't never getting out, none of that type shit, man. We don't know what Suge Knight might do.
Spell your name for me.
William Lesane, WILLIANLESANE.
is your affiliation with this case?
Well, I'm Tupac's first cousin. His mother and my mom were sisters. I'm the oldest out of both sets of siblings or children. I'm the oldest brother and cousin.
What does it mean for you to be here today?
I'm just happy that I can be here, that I'm not dead, I'm not in jail, I'm healthy, I'm of sound mind, and I can come here and witness and observe not only what's going to be historic, but a culmination of 30 years of my family dealing with grief and anger, depression, sadness.
And see, again, this is Pac real family there, right? So you know what I'm saying? This is bigger than just some fans and all of that. This is real family involved. And like I say, I just hope they can cross the threshold into getting them justice. Cause you know what I mean? Like for real, these are people who actually knew the man, his real family, is, you know what I'm saying? It's your son type shit. Like,
You know, so that's how I see it. It's like a culmination of all those 30 years of us not knowing where we're going to go, always hearing some new controversy or conspiracy theory around my cousin's death, people dealing with my cousin's death without emotional attachment, you know, as if he was another statistic, but albeit a famous one, you know. We dealt with a lot of that. So now today it's almost like, you know, hopefully we don't have to deal with it anymore. We can put it all behind us, keep moving forward as a family and as a unit.
I mean, I'm just the average person, fan, obviously, forget Tupac. Tell me about him.
I'm sorry?
Tell me about him.
Oh, tell you about Tupac? When he was a kid, he thought he was a karate expert. He wanted to be like Bruce Lee. And then he'll watch a karate film and come outside after the film, think he was the karate guy that was in the film. He'll try to fight everyone.
Man, that's terrible. Kung Fu karate movies. That's what ruined Pac, man. I knew it was some element of Pac that threw him off a little bit. You know what I'm saying? He was almost the perfect rapper, right? Would have been the perfect rapper if it wasn't for them goddamn Kung Fu movies. And I do think that would have had to take away something from his greatness, something from his ability to transfer Black culture, Black history, Black understanding, the foundation of Blackness, all of that interrupted by Bruce Lee and goofy ass Kung Fu movies. And that's why I say I don't know that if you take those silly elements out of the 70s, where would those conversations be? You know what I'm saying? People outside practicing karate moves like you in Hong Kong somewhere. I say like you in China or something, like you don't have your own issues involving COINTELPRO and many other issues in your community. You are out practicing Kung Fu moves, but this ain't that type of stream, though, man. I'm just telling you, my ideology is sound when it comes to this. It had to be something.
The karate guy that was in the film, he'll try to fight everyone. But my sister, who is like, I think maybe 3 years older than him, he would try his karate skills on her, but she would always whoop his butt every time. No matter what else he learned, whatever new it was, whatever new technique or new skill he thought he learned, he'd try it on my sister and she would tear him out.
And if he knew any better, he wouldn't even told this story. I mean, because for real, the way people do Tupac now, like he's supposed to be some super criminal or whatever, it's just gonna go back to the conversation of, well, it was a girl beating him up. His little cousin used to beat him up all the time. He was a bitch for real. He wasn't no thug. He got thug life tatted on his chest, but he was soft for real. Even his uncle said it. Like, you know what I'm saying? He ain't really helping Pac right here at all. This actually ain't a story he needed to tell, if we being honest. This is going to negatively impact Tupac.
A new skill he thought he learned, he'd try it on my sister and she would tear him out. She'd tear him apart. That Tupac, man, very funny, very comical, extremely generous, very courageous, great person, man. He stood on principles. He wasn't perfect, obviously. He made a lot of mistakes. He was young. He didn't have a chance to learn from most of the mistakes that he made. But I'm sure that if he'd have lived long enough, he would have mastered the mistakes that he made. And all he would have done would have made him a more greater person than he was before he died.
Yep, the mistake was them kung fu movies. Trying to master kung fu moves. That was the mistake. Had he tried to actually master, no, let me quit. Let me quit doing Tupac like that. I'm just not a fan of them kung fu movies. I don't really like the 70s kung fu culture. So, I'm taking a few swipes at him, but I don't want to do too much. I mean, the man ain't even here.
Did you know this was coming? Was this something, Keefe D, was this something that's been in your mind before?
No, Keefe D didn't come on my radar until I saw him constantly running his mouth on TV, and what he was saying was really, really bothering me because he was admitting his role in my cousin's murder. But not only was he admitting it, but it seemed like he was bragging about it, like he was proud of his role in my cousin's murder. And that to me was similar to being burdened with a 500-pound gorilla on my back every time I saw him talk about his role in my cousin's murder, because number one, I couldn't do anything about it, and number two, it was just the greatest form of disrespect and dishonor, that I've ever seen before in my life.
Anything else you want to say to ask you?
No.
Okay.
Let's expect to see him in the courtroom.
Keefe D?
Yeah, let's expect to see him. Yeah.
I'm a 62-year-old man, 62-year-old black man. He's 63. To see him sitting there at 63 years old facing triple life, I feel bad for him. I feel bad more so for his family, for his children and his wife, not too much for him, because he dug that grave for himself.
Yeah, he did that to himself, bro. Like, for real. I can't even look at it like that, because all this is on him. He did it. So if he somehow work his way out of it, cool. But he ain't got nobody to blame but himself.
But I'm just glad it's not me. What I hope for him is that he used this experience to try to help young people, because that's all we can really do. Like, we pay for our mistakes and we're being held accountable for our mistakes. We try to take our experience and our wisdom and we pass it on to younger people so that they don't make those kind of mistakes that we made. And I just hope that he finds God gives him the grace to be able to do that.
Thank you so much for your time.
The man charged in Tupac Shakur's murder is speaking out from behind bars for the first time. Dwayne Keefe D. Davis insists he was 300.
All right, man. So, yeah, that's enough, man. I just wanted to speak on it. Like I say, for me, we getting to a point where it's a question of if this is actually going to be a fair trial, or is it already determined what's going to happen? And that's not to say they after Keefe D or no shit like that. There's an understanding of what happened already. And I don't think they have to, they don't have to go too far into proving it to the public. But you should have to go that far into proving it to a jury. And so that's where I have questions at. And, I'm saying, it's going to kind of start playing out Monday as the trial begins. And I will be right here covering it. And so I do appreciate y'all coming through. I'll catch y'all on the next one. Thank you for watching.